On February 13, 1997, I was given a wake-up call, a second chance. I nearly lost my life due to bulimia, anorexia and drugs, in which I experienced what you would call a near-death experience. I, like many people who have told similar stories, was shown and told I was being given a second chance to finish my purpose. I was given a gift that no words can ever be spoken to tell you how grateful I am for the chance to share my story with you. I hope that my message will reach out to the people who need to hear it most. I had found love. I watched my spirit leave my body and release itself from this world of flesh. I could see myself traveling through a tunnel of light that was a freedom it is hard to describe in physical terms. It was everything all at once: love, freedom, release, and the oneness of all that we are. Suddenly I was in the presence of powerful spirits and love. I could feel them comforting me and preparing me for what was to come. Their love was that of complete serenity. It was there that the source of God communicated with me. Their communication was that of what I could describe the way that you and I communicate here on this planet, but that of power. The knowingness of communication telepathically. I could hear everything through the senses. Spirits who had lived life with me, in the physical flesh, and had passed on before me were there to comfort and love me, as well as a group of spirits, guides and teachers who all had been there with me to complete my journey and purpose for being on the planet. Suddenly I was told by the strongest source of energy and love that I had much work to still do on earth, that I had not yet finished my purpose, that I was being given the choice of destruction or that of my mission. I was then shown what I can describe today as my life review. Everything that I had experienced in my life as a human up until that point. What I now believe to be what the Bible speaks of as Judgment Day. It is not the brimstone and fire that seems scary in the Bible, but that of an experience of you judging you. The reliving of all your choices, love, hate, anger, infliction on others. The difference is that in those moments that you created pain for other, you relive it as if you were inside them. You feel what it was like to feel the pain from their eyes. I was then told that I was being given the choice to stay or to be given a second chance to complete my purpose. I was told that my purpose was a big mission. I was then told that I was being given a blessing, to be shown that which I had not yet finished. At this point, I watched a future that began to pass before my eyes as if it were a movie made to describe a fairy tale, and all that the princess ever wished for was granted. I was told that I was meant to lead, that I was a healer sent to earth to pave the way for others to live. I was shown a movie of a woman who came to earth to help people find their own individual greatness. She would become very well known in movies, TV, publishing, modeling, changing the idea of how the world looks at women, the fitness industry, and trendsetter. I would travel to different countries to open up the awareness for women and help them to discover their own true divinity. My greatest creations would be that of opening healing centers for women and children, and that I would help to open humanitarian foundations for the homeless and people in tragedy and need. I would speak all over the world to large groups of people on topics like anorexia, bulimia, drug abuse, sobriety, and how to discover that unique power within. This next version I was shown was that of a man that was part of my life during these days of darkness. His name was Phil. I was told that I was to share with Phil possibilities that would happen in his own life. That I was given death and destruction in the light. Phil was given the same choice as I hear in the physical world. When I prophesied Phil's own future after my recovery, it was too much. I was then shown why we are all here. We are here to experience the human experience. I was told if it were religion, we would all be hoping the religion we chose was the right one. We are not here to kill each other. We are here to help each other rise to the higher level of love. I was told that I would leave a lasting impression on the world that the world will never forget. My whole life I was taught that sin and Satan was going to come get me if I did something bad. I was told that the sin and Satan we live is that of our own creation. That we are the true essence of God. That we are God creating God. Ye are gods. God lives within us and through us. God experiences it all right along with us. This is called free will, that the greatest gift we were ever given was to create our own reality. To experience the biggest, grandest version of ourselves. Teach the world to play, teach them to rediscover the children in themselves, teach the children to love each other and find the power of using their unique greatness together. I obviously chose to try again. The last thing that happened was when I watched my spirit descend back into my body. I was told, you must help the world to understand that they must give of themselves freely without expecting, and love is all there is. When I recovered, the people I had surrounded myself with no longer understood me, nor were they willing to grasp the connection we all have with each other. Phil called me crazy and now began to call me Scary Sherry. I was shown that he would leave me, but that he would come back someday, sometime, somewhere. 1 month before a court case of Phil's, I described to him what would happen in this court case. Guess what? It happened just as I said it would. This only made Phil more afraid of me. So as painful as it was, I took responsibility for my actions and myself. I lost my hair. I went from £100 to tipping the scale at a whopping £187. I did not realize that I would not have these promises happen that day. I truly thought the promise God gave me, if I came back, would happen that day. The world deserted me, laughed at me, called me crazy. I can only share the pain that I felt from this, but I had been given a blessing that no one or no thing can take away. So I decided to let go. How did I let go when I was currently experiencing the opposite of what I was promised in this experience? I had suddenly recovered, lost all my possessions, my hair fell out from lack of nutrition, I gained almost £90 in 2 months, and I was currently homeless on the streets because my family and friends said, "You made your bed, you lie in it." I did not like what I saw or what I felt inside. The state of absolute bliss I experienced after was a feeling of oneness with all things. You see, the negative energy from the experience of this world was eliminated in the light. I was filled with love. How do I describe the feeling? Other than to say it is kind of like the movie The Highlander. I am everything, I know everything, I am one with everything. From the day I recovered and up until now, my gift has been to experience the mystical. The blessing to be in tune with the Almighty. What is the mystical? It is events that occur in our lives that are not easily explained. It could be something as simple as meeting someone in the moment and hearing them say things to you as if God were speaking to you directly through this individual. An event I can describe in detail is of an experience I had 6 weeks after my recovery. I had a fitness event to attend in Palm Springs. Now, I had hardly any money left to attend this event, but I went anyway. The promoter of the event gave me $20 for gas to drive back to Las Vegas with. I stopped to get gas and realized I was not sure how to drive back to Las Vegas. I asked a man I saw standing on the side of the road if he knew which route to take to get to Las Vegas. He told me to take Highway 10 back to Las Vegas. Now in this day, I was still very new to all this, and in a sense a baby reborn. I drove for quite a while lost in my own thoughts, when I saw a sign that read Arizona. I thought Arizona. I looked at my gas gauge at that moment to see that I was almost out of gas. I knew that I had no money in my bank account and wondered what I was going to do. I pulled over at a gas station just to try and use my ATM card anyway. It read insufficient funds. So what did I do? I started to share my story with people. Yes, many thought I was crazy. I was still very thin at this point. Some people would throw 67 cents at me or 2.00 at me. I would of course put this in the gas tank. I still could not seem to get the right directions from anyone to get back to Las Vegas. During this experience, I could hear the Spirit speak to me and share with me great things I would do in the future. That I would help many people to discover their true selves. I had now been lost for about 10 hours in the desert and seemed to be getting more and more lost. When I came to a gas station in which I heard in my head, "Try your ATM card." At this point, I had just had a man throw $4 worth of quarters at me and tell me I was tweaking. I said to the man, "I was tweaking once, but now I am high on life." I walked into the gas station store to at least try my ATM card again. I handed the clerk my card to discover that the card gave me $13 worth of gas. I once again got into the car and traveled a distance when I came across a gas station out in the middle of nowhere. There were two old men sitting outside on lounge chairs in front of the gas station. I pulled up and started crying. I told one of the men that I was lost, hungry, tired and could not seem to get the right directions to get home. He just stared at me for a moment and looked right into my eyes and said, "I was sent to give you a message, and the message is, tell your story, tell it lightly, don't be pushy, but leave an everlasting example and the world will never forget you." I started to cry again and did not know what to think of all of this. I could share many stories of these types of events in my life, but this small description is just a simple story of what is going on all the time in our lives that just pass us by, or we neglect to see as reality. I realized the denial, the blame, and the procrastination had to end. I needed to take control of my life. I had been given a gift, that gift was a second chance. It was about making a personal commitment to myself. There are two motivating factors that drive us, seeking pleasure and avoiding pain. This is the underlying picture that drives our attitudes and behaviors. A new life plan was in order. Your perception is the agent that will either hinder your growth or promote it. I needed to wake up and take a good look at myself. There was a whole world just waiting for me to enjoy. It was time for me to start really living and enjoying life. I began to look at my situation as a challenge. Many people think of change as too troublesome. They believe it's a negative aspect of life. Motivation means movement. Motivation means going places, not standing still. My real challenge was to stick to my goal. When you look at life and its many challenges as a test, you begin to see each issue you face as an opportunity to grow. I began to make decisions based on personal growth rather than in response to fear or necessity. I realized it doesn't have to take a miracle like I was given to make a change. It takes a little faith, willingness to trust yourself, and the commitment to try something new. We are destined to grow mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. If you convince yourself that change is bad, you are poisoning your future. Keep in mind, if you keep doing what you've always done, you will keep getting what you've always gotten. So I persevered. I have worked very hard to learn to love and accept myself for who I am on the inside. It has not been easy, it takes hard work. It takes allowing yourself to be human. It takes knowing that you are able, possible and willing. I would tell myself I could be victorious over weight or anything else in life. It has all been done one step at a time. My dream is to be a true role model to women and children and help people realize that anything is achievable at any age when you create from your heart and believe in yourself. When you are ready, the teachers will come. The teachers have come one at a time. I would like to give thanks for the moment to my dear friend George Snyder, founder of the Women's Galaxy competition, came into my life and took the time to educate women on how to train like a woman, so that I could pass on the knowledge to other women and help them accomplish their own dreams and goals. So I ask you all to take a moment to look into your hearts and understand we are all at different levels of growth. What example do you wish to represent in society? If you were to leave us today, did you accomplish what you set out to do? So here I am, Sherry G. Finally here again 5.5 years later. I lost 70 pounds 2 years ago and competed in my first all-natural bodybuilding show, in which I was placed first in the Ms. Fitness model search and won the Pro World Natural Ms. Figure 2000, along with many other dreams and goals. I have finally learned to be myself at all costs, to trust my higher power to guide me in all circumstances, and to surround myself with light-like people who are stepping out to take up the important mission of role model in the next millennium to help create a world of unlimited potential full of love. I have recently decided to begin my project of opening women's healing and rejuvenation centers that will target all levels of fitness and bring a variety of fun and challenge to the spirit. It is definitely 5.5 years later, and I am following my heart. I now know that all this has been for a reason. How could I have been that beautiful woman that day of recovery? She had to experience, heal and grow to share the message. I realize today, I am not here to convince anyone of my reality or what happened to me. I am here to offer hope, spread the message and teach others about what unlimited opportunities live inside them.